Bitcoin collapse, Ethereum collapse, this and many more as we dive into the crypto analysis. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. All depends on what time you're hearing this. It is Rich Analysis. Disclaimer, this is not a financial advice, so you shouldn't take this as a financial advice. This is strictly the way I trade. But if you like what I do, if you like the way I analyze, please hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button so you can stay updated when I drop analysis like this. Okay, let's dive right straight into the analysis. Recently, we had Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies drop, and we had a lot of people take their lives. Some people panic and think that we're going to be having um, a sell-off in the market. Well, this is going to explain to you what's going on and why we're having that drop and why we had that drop. Now, let's go to the monthly time frame. I want to show us something quickly. Let's go straight to the monthly time frame. This is the 1 month time frame. I'm gonna take this. Okay, so we see the big picture, and okay, so we see for a fact that Bitcoin is bullish. There really isn't any reason for Bitcoin um, to drop technically, because we see that we're at series of higher highs and higher lows in the bigger time frames, and we also saw this beautiful cup and handles pattern. Now this is a cup and handles pattern, and we had, since this price had broken out of this supply zone, came back, and we had a retest on the supply zone, which now turned to demand, and we started rallying back up, and we came to this um, supply level, which price broke out, and the supply turned to demand. And since then, we've had series of higher highs and higher lows. If you can see clearly, let's see this higher highs and higher lows. So you can see that. So that's a confirmation of the trend that we are bullish. And let's go back to the daily time frame, and so we see what really happened and why it happened the way it happened. Because I saw on the news some people took their lives because of the way the crypto dropped, and it leaves me wondering how people see cryptocurrencies, or how people take cryptocurrencies. Um, we take cryptocurrencies from the investment side of the view, or we view it as an investment. So we have this series of higher highs and higher lows already from the monthly time frame that has shown us since price had left demand. So we're sitting on a bullish trend at our hands. What happened was that price came, when we broke out of this level and started going up, price came, I think we have right here a break of structure. There's a break of structure right there. And once we had that break of structure, we had price create support around this place. And instead of price just keep rallying, can tested the previous minor supply zone, and we had price come back down to retest the break of structure, and also a minor demand zone sitting right here. That is why we had this rally. Price will not just skyrocket and keep moving without retesting some of these previous zones. Now, if we are to have Bitcoin continue dropping, we know for a fact where it's going to, that we are having Bitcoin come down to a demand zone for us to have a potential opportunity to buy. Or if it keeps dropping, we also have another potential demand zone to buy from. And not unless we have price of Bitcoin come down to the extent of breaking um, the previous supply level or demand level. And if it breaks this through, then we can have this supply back, because currently this supply level has now turned to demand. And if Bitcoin should break down all the way down here, then we can call this a change of structure and we can start looking to sell. But for now, we are still in the buy zones. We are strongly bullish. There is really no reason to be panicking about these things if you know how to, or if you know your supply and demand and you understand why the market does certain things that it does. And currently, we are just above demand, just after hitting demand. Let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame, and let's see how this looks like. Okay, beautiful. Now we see what is going on here just at the tap of demand, and we started rallying. So we had a break of structure and we retested the break of structure. So what does it take for you to see, or for you to know that Bitcoin is back to its bullish ways? Now, one of the things you need to see is that you need to see Bitcoin close above the supply zone on a daily to weekly basis for you to see the high price of 150,000 and even more before the end of the year. So this is not a surprise to me. This drop is not a surprise to anybody if you know or understand how the market works. The market always moves towards demand and towards supply. And when we have market breakout of fresh highs or fresh lows, then the previous supply or demand levels are levels or zones of interest by the market or investors. So you could see for a fact that there were big boys, or there were people waiting to buy from here. And once they got it, once they got this drop, and they started buying. So let's also look at Ethereum and what is going on there. I think Ethereum has a better market structure. Okay, now let's go straight into 1 month time frame. I want us to see the big picture and see things for the way it is. Now, on Ethereum, we also have clearly a bullish trend, and we can see for a fact that, let me put this right here quickly. Put this, okay. So we had a break of structure right here. Once we had this thing that was looking like a cup right here, we had the break above and the break of structure, and we came back down to retest the structure. And since then, retesting the structure also created a demand zone. And if we have this demand zone here, let's go ahead to add this demand zone. Okay, so we had this retest right here, and price broke out of the demand zone, came back, retested the demand zone, and since then. So what happened for this drop? Why did Ethereum drop? Besides Bitcoin, I already showed us Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum came right straight into supply. So we are currently sitting at supply. We are currently having markets react to this zone because it's a supply zone. It's a place where sellers took advantage of the market. It's a place where sellers came in and they said, no, we need to push price back down. And that's the area of sales. So that is why we see the market react from that place. And remember, we have a major supply level. And since we had this rally from the demand zone, we've had series of higher highs and higher lows. Series of higher highs and higher lows. Series of higher highs and higher lows. See? So we've been bullish for a while. So we know for a fact that the market is bullish. Now, what happened was that after this whole rally, we created a zone. Market price created a zone, and price has just been consolidating around this level and sitting on the major supply zone. So that's why we had this reaction. We had a break of structure here, break of structure from this level. When market broke the structure, we we came, retested the structure, put in early buyers and people bought early buyers. So this drop was a liquidity grab. We had people that bought from this level and had their stop losses around this place. And this is what market did. Took everybody out that had early buying, and now just at demand zone, the the minor demand zone on the daily time frame, we are having market react right now. So you want to see Ethereum well above this zone on daily to weekly basis before we can possibly see the high price of 7,000 before the end of 2025. So there's really no need to panic. So if we're worst comes to worst, if market reacts from this supply or takes this supply as a level of interest and keep going down, we know that we still have levels and areas to buy from, or not unless Ethereum also breaks its major demand level before we can cancel this whole, or Ethereum comes to break its previous lows and highs, and we can consider this a change of structure. But for now, we are still very, very bullish with cryptos. Now let's look at the market sentiment. This is the market sentiment we see here for gold. XAUUSD surges near 4,050 on renewed US-China trade tensions and Fed rate cut expectations. So this is basically what is pushing the market and pushing price. You see, we are also seeing gold price to continue to rally because of the trade tensions going on. The US trade China trade tensions that's been renewed over the weekend, and also Fed cut rate cut expectations, and also currently we are having the US trade tensions, US shutdown, government shutdown. So there's a lot going on. So that means there's still going to be market rally higher for gold. So we might have gold continue rally to the upside because of continued risk sentiment in the market. And even if we're having Hamas and Israel settle up, try to work out their peace, we still have overall market sentiment as a risk in risk on. So we were anticipating this retracement back because of the Hamas and Israel situation. So, but currently we still have the renewed U.S.-China tensions, and we also have the U.S. government shutdown still on, and we also have the Fed rate cuts expectations. So it's going to keep gold rally up. Is going to keep the bulls to keep pushing this price. But be rest assured that we're yet to have, we could possibly have a retest of this structure and also this supply zone. So this has all automatically flipped to demand. So we might have price come back here sometime, somewhere, somehow. So we never know what will happen. We might have a lot of things turn back around, and once the sentiments clear up, because gold is heavily backed by fundamentals, or moved by fundamentals and market's overall sentiment. So market overall sentiment is that there's still risk in the market, and we're still looking for higher gold prices, and that's just for gold. And but for cryptos, we're having to buy some more, because we bought some more Bitcoin, more Ethereum on this drop. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, we had more buys from the levels that we have, because we know for a fact that these things are still bullish. So not unless Ethereum comes down to break below this demand zone, then we can look for the next demand zone as our target for sellers. But as long as we are still here and if we keep pushing and break above, close above in daily to weekly basis, then we are going to have higher cryptos, higher Bitcoin, higher Ethereum, and higher gold too, because of the current risk sentiment in the market. So if you loved this video and if this video was of any help to you, please hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and I will always drop things like this. God bless.